that if it's anything that I do want to accomplish, is being a voice for the people that do not have a voice. And I think in some of the communities that we're talking about, like South Dallas and East Dallas, it's conversations with city leaders and getting them involved and engaged in what you're trying to do.
Hello there, it's Carrie Broussard, Cinderella CEO On Air host, and I am so happy to be with one of the coolest, most innovative CEOs in Dallas, Texas. You're going to love hearing from her. Her name is Candice Quarles, and she's co-founder and CEO of the cutest company. It's called 9 Happy People, and I want her to tell us all about it today. And I want to hear about her crowdfunding project. Those of you out there who are interested in crowdfunding, I think we can get some neat details that will help us participate and maybe learn a little bit more about it and how somebody out there might do their own crowdfunding project. But that said, Candice, tell us how we can know and support 9 Happy People. And you. I'm
Sure.
assuming you're one of the 9.
I'm one of the 9. So thank you for having me, Carrie. I'm the co-founder and CEO of 9 Happy People. And what we are is a t-shirt company. Our tagline is buy a t-shirt, create a job. So what we want to do is create jobs in South Dallas through the sale of our very cool t-shirts.
What makes them so cool? What's different about your t-shirts besides doing this great feedback or this great give back program?
Sure. So from the profits from our shirts, the shirts are made of very high quality fabric, gives the kind of the soft jersey feel, ready to wear. And what we're doing is taking the profits from those shirts and keeping 9% and giving the rest of the profits back into the community. So reinvesting back into the community through the way of creating jobs. So one, with the people that we hire for the creation of and production of our t-shirts, and then secondly, we're going to give the profits to organizations that do job training, job placement in those specific areas of South Dallas.
And if somebody listening is either from Dallas or even not from Dallas, what is special about South Dallas?
So what's going on in South Dallas is in the city of abundance, such as Dallas, where we have one of the lowest unemployment rates. Companies are moving here daily. We have tons of opportunities, but in certain pockets of Dallas, we don't see that same fortune. In some areas, such as South Dallas, you see unemployment is high, it's up to 22%, when the national average is 4.5% or maybe 5.8%. So what we're seeing in South Dallas is underemployment, unemployment, and then we just need to give a little bit of TLC back to that specific community. So South Dallas, we're speaking of Fair Park. But honestly, you can interchange any major city, and they have these same pockets of unemployment and being underserved in the community. So that's who we want to help.
Do you envision 9 Happy People ever, once you get this figured out for South Dallas, which I'm assuming it's a great catalyst for other businesses to come in and invigorate the economy, could you do this in other cities as well?
Oh, yes. I think we decided to go deep instead of wide. So we're going to start with South Dallas, but definitely we had questions about, well, how come, Fort Worth? And I'm from St. Louis originally. I would love to go back to my hometown and replicate the same type of thing in the community.
Absolutely. That's great. And your background, Candice, is in human resources. How did you decide to do this? What motivated you? Besides, it sounds like the need to and wanting to help people in South Dallas, but what else motivated you?
So I do have a background in HR. So I've worked in HR for Deloitte as an HR management consultant. I've also worked in city government in HR, and I work for manufacturing companies, all in the HR role, maybe doing training and development benefits, just people in general. And then I've also do tons of community work here in Dallas. So I used to be president of the Urban League of Greater Dallas Young Professionals. So they're ages 21 to 40, 150 plus, very engaged advocacy folks that care about inner city in Dallas and equality, economic equality. So I was the president of that organization. I can rattle off a bunch. League of Women Voters.
Right. You're an overachiever, thank God. Thank goodness we have an overachiever who, this is nothing. But going back to the human resources, people listening have an idea of what a human resources person does, and maybe they like the people they work with in human resources, maybe they have no idea what human resources people do, but ultimately what I think and see in my experience is that a human resources individual can be very helpful in helping to build a culture within a company if given the opportunity. What do you think about that? How important is culture in a business?
So the culture of the business is basically around the people and how they feel about the company. If those two things aren't strong, you don't have a business. So you can have all the best plans in the world, but if the people and more focus on the people, and that the people actually drive the business. The more that you focus on them, that's where you're going to see the change and the growth in the business. So as HR people, we're focused, and a lot of people think we just do payroll, we do benefits. Those things are important to people too, but how are we developing you as our manager in the company? How are we developing our next set of future leaders in the company? So within HR, we also drive the strategy along with the business partner. Yeah. So we should be partnering with the operations team and the financial teams because it's very important at the talent pool that you keep at the company.
Is that, and I know you're under 40, you're probably under 20, I don't know. She looks young, everybody.
I'm 33.
33, all right. I love a woman who will tell her age, especially when she looks so good. So the question, though, I have, is this a new trend when we look at the recession and how many people were laid off and now people are more employed now, at least in the Dallas area, not everywhere. But do you see that is a new trend, and do you see that people are drawn to companies like yours because perhaps the millennial generation is more interested in working for an entrepreneur and or being entrepreneurial within a company? Are you seeing that this is a new trend, or is this the way it's always been?
Well, I say for the the Gen Y, the millennial generation, it is very important to us of where does our company invest, and it's also important to how they care about the community that they're a part of. So I think you'll see it's a trend, but for the Gen Y, it's part of a lifestyle. We volunteer outside of work, whether it's required or not.
Yes.
And a lot of companies that we choose, we look at how they're investing in the community, and that's important to us. And I think the more you'll see if companies going in that direction, you'll see more millennials follow that way. And the companies that focus just on the bottom line and the numbers, you'll see less future leaders, which would be Gen Y in those companies.
And that is, it's a mindset. It's not necessarily just based on age, but it's totally a mindset that that perhaps people have had going into the workplace for a long, long time, and might be at the baby boomer age or wherever. And it does seem, though, now that it's becoming a business metric that, just back to your point, is that it can make a company that much more profitable. It can make an employee stay for a longer amount of time, especially the employees you want or attract. So that's good to know.
Yes, and I always say the best employees are great volunteers outside of work. I've worked in organizations volunteer driven, and they also turn out to be the best employees because it's something besides just a financial commitment that they're receiving.
Yes,
it's also kind of being in the in club, and it's another network. But again, it's not a segment of our life as Gen Y. It is our life. And it's very much a part of how do we give back.
Right.
And it's not where we give back when we're 50s or 60s. We want to give back now.
And I want to get to the crowdfunding, and I will in just a minute, but I also want to mention that you have a 9-month-old. I think she's a 9-month-old. 7-month-old baby. Wow. I'm aging her baby. So a 7-month-old baby. How are you balancing growing a business with having a young child?
So I have a very supportive husband, and I also, I plan to start a startup at this time. So I knew that the transition in my life is going to be very important for me to be the woman that I want her to see when she grows up. So I have to do that for Avery. It's important for me to give back. It's important for her to see a woman in leadership this young. So how we balance it, I have a home office, and I have a rocker in my office as well, so she can see while I'm typing. And she's a little older now, so she sits up and she's kind of pulling up on things, but my husband helps a lot, and Avery is just, motherhood just changes the game She changes everything. But now it makes it so much clearer that this is what I should be doing.
Do you have a Cinderella story? Just curious.
Oh, my Cinderella story. So I'm originally from St. Louis. So in 2007, when I moved to Dallas, I decided it was time to get out of the Midwest. Just time to leave. And I had no contacts here in Dallas-Fort Worth. So I packed up my Jeep Liberty at the time, and all I had was one suit to interview in, a couple of college T-shirts, and some Delta T-shirts. And I moved here in Dallas, found an apartment, and slept on the floor of my apartment for the first 4 months until I purchased a bed.
And why Dallas?
Dallas is a good transition location from the Midwest. So I'm from St. Louis, so Chicago is just 3 to 4 hours away, and I've been there tons of time. I wanted to start fresh, and then all of the jobs were moving to Dallas. So I said, I'm going to find a job once I get here. So once I got here, I started working for a temp company, and they sent me 2-3-day jobs all across the Metroplex. So then I finally got a permanent position at the city of Grand Prairie 6 weeks after I moved here.
Wow.
And then I finally got a bed. And I finally got a couch and, started meeting people and getting more engaged in the community, and that's when I got involved with the Urban League. But yeah.
And your parents were probably, your relatives were like, we don't know. We couldn't stop her. She just did it.
My mom was like, why are you going to move to, you don't know anyone? And I'm like, I'm friendly. I'll meet new people. Mm-hmm. I'm a part of a big sorority. So I said, I'll go to a meeting. I'll meet some of those women. I'm going to get involved and volunteer. I'll meet new people. And
so that network of the sorority was really helpful.
Oh, yeah. Those women definitely take care of you, especially when they see a young person that's engaged and they want to lead. So I got involved in a sorority, and I sat on the leadership board like within 6 months. And
great.
I'm attracted to leadership positions. I don't know what my problem is. Like, seriously, if I'm involved in an organization, somehow I'm on the executive team doing something, I have to watch that.
Well, no, I think that's good. Don't watch that. I think that's good. Keep it up. And so let's talk about crowdfunding for a moment, and then I want to come back to leadership, because some people don't really know how to be a good leader either. They think they want to just be at the top and tell people what to do, But let's talk about crowdfunding, because that's it's kind of a neat analogy, right? Mm-hmm. That you're bringing, tell me, how would you describe
So
crowdfunding?
with the crowdfunding that we're going to do with 9 Happy People, we're going to officially launch on Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding source or its website, so people can donate and support the idea. And it's more than just our family and friends.
How can they find it when you launch? I think you're launching on April 9th.
Okay. We're going to launch on April 9th, so it'll be listed on Kickstarter, and then also we'll share it on our website and share it on
Kickstarter.com?
Kickstarter.com is the website.
And they look up 9 Happy People.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And they will look up 9 Happy People, and they will see our video that we created, which was fun.
Excellent.
And then all of the information around why we're doing this and supporting jobs in underemployed and underserved communities. So our Kickstarter is going to validate the idea, besides our family and friends who already support us, that this is something people should pay attention to. We want to help create jobs. This is the way we're going to do that. Will you be on board with us as we do that?
How wonderful. And the amount of money that you'll be raising, I think you told me earlier before the interview, but maybe you don't.
So we're going to do, we're starting at $10,000.
$10,000.
Yes.
And though an individual contributor, how much can they contribute?
You can start $1, $5, $10 up to $100, $250, whatever you desire. We want to get the word out.
And what do they get in return?
So they have different reward levels, and we have about 10 reward levels. But the basic $1 is basically you're going to share Kickstarter. You're going to share what 9 Happy People is about, and that's what we want. We want people to share the information so they can support at any level they feel like they can give.
How neat. Mm-hmm. And then it goes up, as you said, like somebody might get a T-shirt, they might get...
Oh, yes. So we're officially selling our T-shirts with this. So if you give a $50 donation, you'll receive a T-shirt.
Okay.
And then all the way up into, I think, $1,000, $5,000.
And now would a company or corporation suppose, let's say they wanted to produce T-shirts for an event, or whether it's a sporting event, a concert, could they use Nine Happy People services?
We get that question a lot,
okay.
And we are very much a startup, so maybe that might be a phase 2 or 3 for us. But for now, we want people to support the Nine Shield and the Be Happy shirts, and a lot of our shirts have positive messages. So they say love all, be happy, and they have the 9 on them. So that's so you'll know when you see that brand that it supports community. But for now, we're going to start with that, and then maybe one day we can, do the soccer team's T-shirt. Or things like that.
So if you were going to benchmark against another, or compare yourselves, or I call it benchmarking against a company that you aspire to be like, is there a company out there like that? Just curious.
Well, there are tons of socially conscious companies, and more are popping up every day. I would say the Love All brand is definitely, when you see that brand, that you know that you're supporting a social cause. Warby Parker, they have the glasses, so that has a social component too. And then Tom's shoes, of course, everyone knows Tom's.
Yes.
But very much when you see this item that it supports community in some way.
Got it. And so back to leadership. What's your next step in terms of, okay, this becomes successful, you have a revenue goal, you meet it, you go from maybe out to other cities. Do you have any other aspirations from a leadership perspective, and can you describe what you would call a good leader, even if it's a person's name? That, how would you describe a good leader?
So other aspirations for leadership. For now, I'm involved in the community, and I see they have some holes, and I think I can fill them. So I think there's tons of organizations to get involved in, some things that I know that I can bridge the gap between 2 different organizations, that if they work together, get some things accomplished. But when it comes to leadership and what things, as leadership isn't for everyone.
It's not for everyone, and not everybody knows what it is. And I think, that's why I think making the pie bigger for everybody, not just, picking a role and saying, okay, I'm the vice president of this or president of that. Servant leadership is a good way to describe it too. Cinderella CEO, I like to think, is a good way to, it's a moniker, if you will, to kind of describe what a CEO. Doesn't have to be a female, but a lot of people think of Cinderella, obviously, as a girl. But it's the Cinderella story, overcoming odds, so that that the odds are against you, but you overcome those odds, and you become in a position that you can do good things for others. Right. Is really the story.
Yeah, I think with leadership, everyone wants to be the leader when you're receiving an award, but the true leaders are the ones that made the phone calls the night before to make sure that everything's intact.
Yes.
And brings the plates at the same time. They're setting up tables at the same time they're tweeting. That's the leadership now, where you're involved in all aspects of it.
Yep.
And then also leadership, you're rarely planning anymore. You're at the people's side.
Yes.
So that's conversations on the way to work, as I used to have with some of my executive team. It's conversations with city leaders and getting them involved and engaged in what you're trying to do. So I would say leadership encompasses so many things, but it's true sacrifice of self to a better cause.
Yes.
And being a voice for the voiceless. And that if it's anything that I do want to accomplish, is being a voice for the people that do not have a voice. And I think in some of the communities that we're talking about, like South Dallas and East Dallas, who's standing up for them? Who's showing them that there is a better way, and we care about you? We don't want to just drive around you or drive through you.
Yeah.
We want to stop here and make sure your community is the same as in North Dallas or in any other part of the Metroplex.
And see it thrive, and see the people
thrive, and see their jobs. And is this a place where you want to work, sleep, have fun, and all in that, instead of drive through, just go to Fair Park and then go home.
I love it. So Candice Quarles, the co-founder and CEO of Nine Happy People, her website is 9happypeople.com, and it's the numeral 9, so 9happypeople.com. Her hashtag is #power_of9. And your Twitter is, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah. It's at 9 Happy People. So the reason we say 9 for 9 Happy People is that if you were to share positivity, all of our shirts have positive messages. You share positivity and great things about if you were to share positivity with 9 other people and then they were to pay it forward 9 times, we'd have the whole United States covered. So that's what the power of 9 is about.
That's the power of 9. And yes, thank you for bringing that up. I had asked you that earlier and forgot to bring it up again. I think that is fantastic. And I had wondered if you had started the company with 9 happy people, and you said, I've got a business partner who I know, who I think is an amazing person too. Do you want to mention him?
So our co-founder, he conceptualized the whole idea. His name is Amrit Kirpalani, and he has 2 other startups that he's done and he's experienced. So I'm blessed in that way that I have a co-founder that has done the startup world before.
Yes.
So I feel like I have an advantage of how do we get to stage 2 and phase 2. But he's amazing. He's also very dedicated to community service here in Dallas. And we decided, let's go and try this thing.
I love it.
See if we can transform the community.
Well, we want to support you. We will definitely be listening and watching Kickstarter and participate. Kickstarter.com. We'll look for 9 happy people. You'll kick it off on April 9th. But I'm sure throughout the year you'll be doing more. Just so you know, we have a website, CinderellaCEO.com. We also are on Twitter at Fairy God Mentor. So we will connect and help spread the word about 9 happy people.
Oh, that's great.
And Candice, it's just been a pleasure, and really looking forward to getting to know you better on air and off. And Cinderella CEO On Air is better because you have been here today. And thank you so much. Is there anything else we can help you with or that you'd like to add?
We would love for you to just share about the power of 9 and know more about 9 happy people. So sharing our Kickstarter would be great, but we just want you to be engaged in what's going on in the community, and 9 happy people is going to take it on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was fun.
This was.
To be a CEO performer at any level in today's modern work world, tune into all the podcast episodes of Cinderella CEO On Air. Cinderella success stories, CEO interviews, mentoring techniques, and more.